I think we're live. At least that's what the thing says. View your live stream in a web browser. All right, I think I think we're live. All right, so I am definitely live there. Go to live dashboard. Hear myself good when I was looking. All right. Let's get rid of this box for now. And go to the live dashboard. Say hello in the chat. All right, so hello, Dave Knight here at Dave Knight Trading, Trade Crazy, however else I'm going to call myself. I am been testing out different things. Definitely need to work on a few odds and ends, but what are we up to? Make sure, yes, we're on the sim because I've put it in. One of the things that I've done recently, if we edit, I went just trading recently, just went to trade 3 MNQs. Target 1, target 2, target 3. 3R, 4R, 5R stops versus 3, 6, 9. So since we're in sim, we're just going to show it. Let's go ahead and go short here.
Order filled.
So buy limit here, buy limit here, buy limit here. It actually would go below the lows of the day if it went down. Then we have a stop limit 3R, 4R, 5R. And what's R's? What's all that mean? If we go back to my spreadsheet, 3R is 99 today, 4R is 132, 5R is 165. Go on the other side, 3P 148, 6P 296, and 9P is 444 in ticks. So I figured it out today. This loss, stop loss, 98, 132, 99, 132, and 165 is $197.50 plus commission costs. So it works out to about, what's that, 1, 2, 3 more dollars on top of that, about 200 bucks. What I've set up here is try to keep my loss to 250 or under per trade. 3 contract size. So that's kind of what we did. And obviously, looks like I might have guessed wrong. Let's look at the system itself and see what's showing up here. All right, so we have, actually, let's reverse this.
Order filled.
Because the long looks better. But what do we got going on here? I think that is something I put on the charts. Yeah, a little line. 213. Where did I put that on? I was trading, here's when I was trading the sim. This was a nice little trade I caught today. Actually, we're back into that already. That could be a nice little win. So, if I pull this over, notice that I've got 3, 92, 93, 94. I've 851 gain, 805 gain, $1,483 gain before I blew the accounts. What I did is decided to get a product called QuantGuard. And what I did today on QuantGuard See if it's still up here. Yeah. There's a locked in. Although it says it's locked. I tried to trade it after and it didn't. So hopefully it'll correct itself. I talked to the owner and he said it's lock selected, so I shouldn't be able to trade 195 after I put it in. So you would think that that would stop it, but I force refresh.
Stop filled. Stop filled.
Oh, so it went short after all.
Stop filled.
All right, let's see what we got going on. Neither one of those was a good trade. This is all short. Everything here is short.
Order filled.
I'm just goofing right now. This is a dangerous area to be in. Look at how the congestion is right here. Sell off on the Friday. Anyway, long story short, let's see here. I'm not really concerned with what's going on. I just wanted to show how I set my stops and how I set my profit targets right now. That's the most important thing I wanted to show here. If I none of these have been a good trade here. Although this goes below the zero line into the minus 100, then it would be a decent trade. MACD is above the zero line here, so none of this is looking good yet. I got rid of the highway for now. Talk about just getting whipsawed in here. This is the area that you want to stay away from, right? When you find a congestion area, a trading range, you see it trying to break out of it through here.
Order filled. Order filled.
This is a plus 100. Positive on the MACD. This is dangerous area though, because we're trading below the S2 line. This is a very dangerous area to be trading in. Ideally, I really don't want to be in this once it's proven that it's a congestion area. It's a lot of money to be made in the morning. That's where I made my I was able to take, pull this over. I was able to trade 195 today, and that's the one that I closed out with a gain today. And then I locked the account to stop me from doing anything stupid. But it allowed me to trade. So I don't want to hit the button again today, but I know that I traded, actually you can see, I was trading 3 contracts at a time. So, and then I pushed twice with one to see if it would lock out. And you can see the one contract twice. So I was trading 3 contracts. You can see there was 7 trades altogether, I guess. And then I had 2 that I was testing out to see what, if the quant guard was actively keep me from trading, and it allowed me to trade, keep it in. So I contacted the owner to find out more about that, and hopefully he said something about, actually when I was on Discord today with him briefly, he said, I said, hello, new to QuantGuard, use Nutty's code. I set up my Apex EA today to test out, made some money, unlocked the trading account. I pressed the M and Q and allowed me to trade even though it shows locked. How does this work? Thanks for assistance in advance. Still think we're going to sell off in the close, but let's reverse here again.
Order filled. Order filled.
Got some negatives here. He said something about monitoring. Did you enable monitoring? And I said, what is monitoring? Where do I see that setting? And he never answered me back. So this is a dangerous area right here. I've just been goofing and I haven't won one yet. So that's why 3:30 on a Friday, very dangerous time to trade basically. Definitely not a time that I ever trade. I've never traded a live account this late. I usually, well, on a Friday, I try to be done before 12. 11:30 is kind of where I got done around 10:30 today. So this is never a good time to be trading. There's a lot of yo-yoing that happens here. You can see the yo-yoing basically since, was that 251? Maybe we'll get lucky here just for the hell of it and see what happens. So we got a 3P, a 6P, and a 9P. Notice that all the ads go, NinjaTrader puts them all at the first target. So although I got 9 contracts here, 6 of them went here plus the 111 on the first trade itself. Any additionals seem to go, and NinjaTrader puts them in to your first profit target. That's something I've seen happen over and over again. Be interesting if we do my sim account was crazy today. I'm up like oh, here, let's bring this over. So I just went after it today. 28,000. Obviously trading in size. I was trying things out today. No, it's supposed to unlock. QuantGuard's supposed to unlock at 4:30 today. Kind of holding on to see what gets hit first. 3R or 3P. Now, once again, the goal, 3R is 99 and 3P set up today is 148 ticks. There was no good trades though, since actually like I talked about, when I'm trading on a Friday, I want to be done at this time. This is the trade that I caught today. This is an interesting trade. It was again fourth time through, going here. I was following this area here. This is where I marked it on the trading account. If I put on 195, you can see where I caught it here, and I had an exit here, an exit here, and the third exit came over here. If we look at wave count, I counted this as a 0 point. This was the low, the blue line here showing the low of the session. And this right here, actually this should have been over here anyway. So this actually 0, 1, 2, this could still be considered a 2 point. A 3 point here are 4. And then we had our 4 going to 5 up here. So this was the area, this is a sweet spot. You can consider this barely moving up higher. This could be a 0, 1, 2 still. This could have been a 3, 4, and this would have been the 5th point up here. You can see that I was able to, this is where I added a contract after I closed locked the account. You can see I tried to trade here and it let me trade, and I tried to trade here and it let me trade, and I closed it out. So this is where QuantGuard, where I was concerned that it's not working. The trade that I caught the win on was right here though. As we were going down, down, down. I think I took on a short here and then covered. Here's the report that came out at 10 o'clock. And I wanted to wait a minute before I took it on. So, but anyway, long story short, this was the low at the 10:03 mark on the session. And then you can see this coming up and down and through. So if I would look at it, literally I would have, in hindsight now, I would say this was 0 point to the 1, and this is the 2. This was 3 to 4 going up, 4 coming down, and then there was one more trade up here, and you can see the EMA lines all showing good. Here was the signal to go long right here. So basically right here to go long again, 4 to 5. I didn't take this trade, but this was a signal right in here. You can see that would have been a nice winner too, 4 to 5. Now I looked at this as, at the time, I looked at this as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 to 5. But in hindsight, looking back, you can see that this just barely goes above the other, and this holds. So it was 0, 1, 2, this was 3 going up to here, 4 here, and then 5. And then here's where the high of the session was on the trade that we were in. And then I draw this line down, and I draw this line here showing a range where I want to get a long above. It settled in here. If I go back to the sim account, and I just close this out because it's
Order filled.
wasting time here. None of those were good trades when I was playing in the sim today. When we're sitting here. So this was what I was looking at. And this is the trade that won right in here. See an exit here, an exit up here, and the third exit up here. It almost made it to 9R on that trade, by the way. It did go 9R eventually, but it settled in here, and I was done trading on the sim right here at 1147. I got done on the 195 EA and locked the account. I locked the account right in here at 10:20 a.m. So I traded roughly 9:30 to 10:20 today. And then I said, all right, let's see if the thing works. And the quant guard, and it let me put this entry in. And I thought, well, that sucks. And I closed it. And then I tried again up here. Both were buys, by the way. So then this one here, I tried to buy it again, and it let me. And I'm hoping that that'll correct itself the next time I go here, since the owner of Quant Guard said that he had pushed out. His exact comment was, what did he say? That may be an issue with a patch I pushed last night, as that shouldn't be how it works. I'm in a coffee shop. I'll be home in just a moment and diving into it. So what is monitoring, and did you I don't know if he'll answer me or not, but I asked him, what is monitoring, and did you find the issue? Now it went up. Trying to figure out. This is just not some time that I would trade though, so I'm not going to worry about trying to figure this part out. From here, basically 11:30 to 12. Here's where I finish. If I'm trading a Friday, I want to be done before we get to the 12 mark. So this was the area that I believe I caught. If I look at the sim. Yes. There's the trade I caught that won the sim trade. We talked about the GAN fourth time through roughly. We mark the area. We mark this. Yeah, that's what we did. We marked this low. We saw the congestion area. We saw that we're making higher lows basically, coming down. Lower highs, lower highs coming down. And then this line held right here. This line held right here. Here's where the line held. So then I started seeing that it was kind of, and you can see I caught the sim in this area. You can see that it was coming down. I noticed it. I noticed it. I noticed it. That line was still holding. Here's where I noticed that the line was holding. Here's where I figured out that we were forming kind of a pennant, I guess is the best way to put it. Line holding, and then you see the move. Right in here is your signal to get long. I would have waited for it above the 0 line. See, I jumped into it when it moved above here. I tried different times to try to catch it, as I knew it looked like it was really ready to pop. And then finally I did catch it. Not worried about any of these other trades. I would have never taken on Friday in the afternoon. It's just not a time to trade. You should be done, like I said, should be done at 11:30. Notice that I'm not trading any of my EAs. Actually, I can only trade EA 195, and I'll lock that out so I wouldn't do anything stupid. That's why I decided to get QuantGuard. I'm hoping that the damn product will work, because I used Nutty's code to get a 10% discount, and I bought the $75 version for $67.50. And I think it's going to be worth it if it works properly, because if it locks me out of if I lock that account out, like it said here, bring that back over. It does what it's supposed to do. Here's where you can lock the selected, or you can lock it. So I only have one active EA right now. I will pick up another EA on the 3rd of August. I need to change my calendar. All right, so let's talk about what's on the charts here, and then we'll wrap it up. So this is what I picked up here. It says I can have 4 remaining, and I want to obviously take these EAs to PA, and then use QuantGuard to keep me from me, basically. Let me pull that up and minimize this and get it off screen. All right, so let's talk about what I've got on the charts right now. So I have 3 EMA lines on the charts. I got a faster moving one, a slower moving one, and an even slower moving EMA. When all 3 of them are like this, blue, orange, yellow, it's kind of showing that longs are more apt than shorts. Look at this CCI setup right there. Those 2, this high versus this high, and then you can see a little sell-off going on here. 354, by the way. See this little move right in here. So that was actually, the longs didn't come over till here. None of this makes sense right now. Look how flat all of that is right there, the 3 MAs. So when you see all your EMAs flat like this, that's a good signal that you shouldn't be trading, right? So this is showing you a congestion area. All your EMAs are kind of hanging out all together. They're hard to see which way to go. You got the yellow line going above and below the orange and the blue, not holding. You see this right here was a little signal maybe to take on, but that was 3:30. It's too late to be trading. So this maybe would have been a signal. Let's look back though. Yeah, you could have possibly have taken that on. Here's your red right here. Break even, by the way. But it's 3:30. I mean, you really don't want to grab these trades. This is a start, could have been start of a trend though. This one right here looks okay. See if there's anything good on the other side. Right here you see everything coming back. Let me get rid of this line right there. You got a little line right in here, a signal right here. Look how low the MACD is. You don't want to be pissing around in that. Not a very conducive MACD signal. So looking at it in hindsight, nothing. The only trade that I like as I came on today would maybe this short right here. You can see that short pattern looks like CCI didn't really keep track of it, and you can see it came back up. Best case scenario on that trade, most likely break even, maybe a 3 P target hit there, and maybe get something on that. So you're looking at the EMAs basically. You want to see all of them jive together. The blue, the orange, and the yellow. So the yellow is your quick one. Your orange is your slower one, and this is the slowest of the three. So 3 EMA lines. The Bollinger Band is set at 3 standard deviations. So as you tighten it in, let's look here. Where's the tightened? From 2. Right in here. Look at the Bollinger Bands here. Pretty tight through all that right there. And then you can see it extending. So this is pretty tight on the 3 standard deviations, closing in, and then you can see it extend. And then you can see extending here. I might take all the Bollinger Bands off the charts. I have a way of going after a trade, and I used to use it for a highway. I've not really found the highway to work very good in the MNQ or the NQ. It worked better in crude oil. So when you see the standard deviations expand like that, you can see that it's a good setup. When they narrow in like this, and then when you see them expand, now you got momentum working on the trade. No, this is the only setup that was possibly to take right in here. I don't see anything that has me say, wow, we're trading in a lot of junk here. We don't want to take anything here. We have this move. yellow above the blue, but the orange is still underneath it. Here's where all three of them are above. And see how it all thinned out right there on the MACD signal. Now, there's two different ways that I like to trade. One is a mean regression. So that would be like taking up here and going back to here, a mean regression back to the mean. So this is, we expanded. We see the CCI didn't conform. Basically set up a head and shoulders if you look at it another way. Here's shoulder here, head here, shoulder over here, and then it comes down. CCI was reading right here that it's not holding. So this is a mean regression if you're not in a trade. Now the other side of that, so this is where the yellow line comes back down to the orange and the blue line. So your mean regression comes back to your EMAs when it pushes out hard. And then you have, here's another mean regression right here. And you got a mean regression going this way. Here's a bunch of signals that keep staying short. See the blue, the orange, and the yellow all telling you to stay short all through here. All through here is showing to stay short. Crossover here. So we must have been up at some point. You can see where it was showing that long was better right through here. Here's your crossover. Here's your mean regression back. Here's that trade that I took on at the 11:30 mark. That held on as a long all the way to roughly right here, 12:40. And it's all short all through here. And the mean regression above. This is where it kind of converted over. So anyway, long story short, there's two separate ways of trading this. You got a mean regression back to the blue line roughly, and then you follow like here. This is the best example I can show because I caught it. So you have a mean regression here, and then you follow up. If I would have followed on the yellow line, this would have been my exit right in here. So I tightened up as we got close. The 9P was right in this area, right in here. So we got within a couple range bars of it. And then I stayed right here. Here's where I got stopped on the trade. It went below this mark right here. And then I got out. But this would have been my stop right here. When you find something that works, you got your tortoise and your hare side of a trade. So this would be the tortoise line to hold on to the trade, that last contract, to find a place to take maximum profit at. So this would have been your exit point no matter what. I took it up here though. This was a 3R target, and this was a 3P target here, and this was a 6P target. So it hit both targets today. And the 9P was up here and didn't hit that all the way. This was my and then the other trade that I had that was a good one that I caught on the EA today. Let's go back to that. I believe it was a mean regression as well. Yeah, here it is right there. I showed you where I caught that. 012. I looked at it at 4 to 5 when I was taking it on. Hindsight, this was 012 right here. This was the 3 move. 4. The 5 move. Now I did find this out later on, and that's why you see this little channel set up, because you're looking at the ABC correction. The the ABC correction with the GAN signal culminated right here with it going back up. Yeah, this is the trade that I was able to catch today for that took me to plus 350 on my 7th trade. That allowed me to go to plus 350, and then I think you can see where I tried to take on the trade again. My 3rd exit was up here. So 3, this one got close. We had this line here that I was paying attention to. Let's go back and see why I put that on the charts. I believe that was the session high at our session low. No, this is where it was holding at the S2 line. And we're able to catch that move going back to S2. And this was the last exit up here. So we had our entry point here. We took off one contract here, one contract here. So I probably could have caught 6p, and this was a 6p exit on the 3rd one. I didn't get 9. 9 never really showed on this one. Here was the exit on the trade itself right there as it closed in. This was a nice little trade. Wave pattern, signal all together. You can see where it come across above the 100 line right in here on the CCI. So this was showing a nice little setup. This was a very nice trade right there with a setup coming off the lows. And I kind of caught one here at break even, but this is the one that I caught. Try not to catch a 012 off of a low. So I was thinking this was the 3 right here. So that's why I caught it. So 012, in hindsight, this was 012 right here, and I was catching the 3. So either way, I still caught that trade the way I like to catch it. So we have a CCI 14, and this is CCI. I just set the 14 bars on this one. Let's get here, indicators. Just look at what I did here. So right now the EMA 30 range on one, I set it at 25. 175 seemed to work today. So these are fluid and you can move them. And this was set at 400. I set this after the 10 a.m. release. And that's what seems to be just holding it today. So I can move them around if I need to. But 3 EMAs. The MACD, I kept the signals the same. I didn't. So this is the standard setting in NinjaTrader, 12, 26, and 9. I just colored things the way I wanted to see it. So gray, green, blue, looking at the 0 line. Not really paying much attention to the crossovers and whatnot. I would like to have a histogram across. I just didn't really take time to resolve it. And then on the CCI, I moved it to the standard 14, the way it is usually set up at 14. So notice the CCI set at 14 and the MACD is set up at 12, 26, 9. So the fast, slow, smooth. Kept the pivots on the chart. I do like pivots. And I made this Bollinger Band 3 standard deviations at 18. I might make that 21, by the way. So that's my settings on the chart, and I kept the pivots. The Bollinger Bands at 3 standard deviations. Sometimes I fluctuate 3 and 1, because I don't like to have all kinds of things on my charts. So I'll switch it to 1 just to see where 1 standard deviation is coming back. That's where the market usually hangs out, at the 1 standard deviation. And notice the EMAs kind of keep it in track right there. So that EMA and the 1 standard deviation kind of holds together. And then I don't normally look at 2 standard deviations. Used to be my standard of where I kept everything at. And then I thought about the wheel, standard deviation curve. And I thought, well, if I want to trade the mean regression back, meaning taking this yellow line and going back down into here, that can be a trade setup, but you need to have a right setup to come across to make it worthwhile. You don't want to try to catch it in a wave pattern though. So you want to make sure your wave pattern's done. It's at least got to the 5th part of the wave. This is where the 5th part of the wave, the 5th part of the wave came way up here. So here's the 5th part of the wave, and this is where the mean regression kicks in. And you can see it coming back to the mean right in here. The blue line's down here, but it did go back to the orange. And the blue line holds. You can notice that the mean regression eventually bottoms out over here. So this was holding. This is the exception right here. So there's 2 separate ways that I like to trade, is what I'm getting at. One is the wave pattern, where I'm trying to catch, I don't want to catch the 0 point. I want the 0, 1, 2 to form. In this case it was 0, 1 to 2 here, but at the time again, 0, 1, 2, going 3, and then catching this move. I looked at this as the same area when I was looking at it. I set up the arrow lines, but when I was taking on a trade, I was looking at this, and this was holding that line. So you can see I attempted it here and closed it out, and then I re-entered right in here, thinking it could be the 4 to 5, and in hindsight it was the 2 to 3. And here was the 3 move to 4, and 4 going to 5. You can see where I tried to add. I locked the account here, EA 195, and then I tried to add and let me put the trade on, which I talked about the quant guard, and right here it allowed me to put the trade on. So I want to see quant guard work for my $67.50. Now, one thing I did set up on quant guard is I put a $750 loss in, 600 to clear out, but I also set my trade setup at 250. So I wanted to make sure not per trade I wasn't going to lose more than $250. My opening trade, by the way, I actually lost. I'll go back here to the 930 mark. Here's where the loss came in. I shorted here. This was a short opportunity. It went down, and I didn't move to break even because I was testing things out today. Exit, exit, exit. So this was where I went down $197.50 right here. So my opening trade at 9, and I should have not taken this on because it's not quite. Ideally, I need to wait at least 5 minutes to come across. So 9:35 comes in here. I don't know exactly what I was thinking back here. I was reversing. I did take this on. So I was able to catch this one at 9:32. So here was the signal right here. Here's your yellow line, your orange line, your blue line. So I took this short. You can see my 3 exits here, here, and here. Notice this one came off the yellow line. What else did I do on 195? I attempted here. It looks like I took on a short here. There's a short signal. And I should have stayed in it. I got nervous and closed it out, and I should have stayed in it. Look, if I stayed in this one, this was a nice little setup. Look at the yellow line not closing above till here. So that was just stupid on my part to get out. I didn't trust myself because I was testing this out today in a live EA. Best way for me to test things is just to go live in an EA. I would never do that in a PA. So $35 risk, okay, I can do that. $35.50 risk for an EA, I'm okay with that. Testing this out in a PA, hell no. Have your trading plan down before you would mess around in a PA. So right here you can see I shorted here. It's a nice short, by the way. And I got nervous on the setup and closed out. I have no clue why I did it. I went to break even on the trade, and I should have not. So my first stop hit, and then I hit close over here on the remaining two. And that's why you see that right there. His one went out, and then the last two came out right there. And nice setup though. If I would just hang on to that, look at that beautiful lines here. You got your you got the EMA here, your EMA here holding at that 120, I guess it was, right there. When I was looking at it, I set this up right there. I thought, wow, that's a nice setup. And then it went down to S2. See, I tried again here, closed out. Tried again here, closed out. Laid away on this 10 o'clock shit because there's some red reports coming. There's the 8:30 red reports, and there was a 10 a.m. red report today. You want to stay away from trading in that area. So I waited. And then you see me set up that trade right here at 10:03. I start setting up what I want to do. And you see me take it on right in here. So basically, you see I took a short on here, closed it out, and then I took the long setup. So I guess what I was trying to say here is you can have mistakes along the way as long as you trade in your system. In this case, I was trading 3 contracts each time. 3 MNQs, not pushing add, not doing anything. So I was just basically, and you notice my first trade was a loser. So I was down $200 to start with, and I finished up at plus 327. So the swing, I need to find my calculator again. But the swing that I had on my trading today, after my first loser, 200 plus 350. I had a $550 swing just trading 3 MNQs. So there's a lot of money to be made just trading 3 MNQs. You don't have to go heavy at this. There's plenty of opportunity here to hang yourself. Most of my problems happen, and the reason I took on Quant Guard to start with, I'll make sure this is in sim, was because I have the habit of blowing the account and pushing that button. I put a max, I want it to work too, because I can't show it, but my MNQ, I have on Quant Guard, I say, don't let me trade more than 12 contracts. So 12 MNQs is where I want to stall. Now granted, you can trade, I think 50, right? On a $50,000 account. You have that 30% consistency bullshit rule, right? Kind of like Top Step. The reason I left Top Step years ago was the consistency bullshit. Apex has the consistency bullshit as well. I'm familiar with Apex, so I stick with Apex. 30% consistency mean you can't lose 750. You can't. I don't think you can win more than 750 on a day either, and stay within the consistency rules, right? I guess that's the way I understand it. Oh well, let's wrap it up. That's it. That's all I'm going to talk about today. I just wanted to come on, talk about what I'm doing, give you an update. Nothing's set in the. I guess we're just playing in the dirt right now. Although I do like what I've done here. I got rid of the highway. I got rid of things that I don't use. I did add in the MACD. I put the CCI back to 14. MACD is at the default ranges. And then we have our EMAs. So I got 3 EMAs. I got rid of a bunch of the MAs that I had. I got the 100 and 200. I got rid of those, and I decided to go with 3 EMAs, trying to show direction and trend. So that's kind of, and then you have 2 separate way of looking at trade. You got the moving with the trend, and then you have mean regression, looking for like that trade. Basically, this is where I would say the mean regression right here. It's a beautiful setup. You got your CCI showing next high up. It's not holding. CCI is showing that above the 200 mark, under the 200 mark, makes a higher high, and you got that mean regression coming down. That's a beautiful setup, by the way. Going back to the mean regression, going back to the blue line, the orange line, yellow line showing you it extends out and then it comes back. Beautiful setup right there. All right, that'll do it for today. Take care. That's all I want to talk about. We want to lock up this. Where is my thingy where I can stop this? Hey, Vincenzo. That's it. That's all I got to talk about today. Just, I'm playing in the dirt. So in the sandbox right now, testing out stuff, how I want to proceed into the future. God bless. Take care. Today was August 1st. Welcome to August. August 1st, Friday, August 1st, 2025. Still working in the background. When I get something solid that I'm feel that I'm consistent with, I'll be back. But I thought I would give you my sandbox, what I'm working on right now. So I showed you my sandbox, and I have my oh, this is a 30 range chart, by the way. I set everything up on 30 ranges. Now I will go and look at 60 range bars, and I will look at 15 range bars right now. I'm still working with that, but I set this whole thing up. This sandbox that I'm working in right now is set up on a 30